Why do we cup a coffee? I'm glad you asked the question, because I'm going to take you through the step-by-step processes of cupping a new coffee. Let's go. If you're new to cupping, it might seem scary to start, but trust me, this is probably the most simple way to try a coffee for the first time. It allows us to evaluate the coffee at different stages. We get to smell the aroma, we get to try it hot, warm, and cool, and we get to evaluate things like flavour, aroma, acidity, body. Today I've got two coffees. I've got a washed Colombian from All Caps, and I've got a natural Rwandan from Origin, both UK-based roasteries. This is a great way for me to get to try both of these coffees side by side before offering it to our customers. The beautiful thing about a cupping is that it's standardised worldwide. So you want to use 8.25 grams of coffee to 150 ml ratio of water. But to keep that easy today, we're going to do 10 grams of coffee to 180 ml. So I'm going to weigh out 10 grams of my Rwandan. Perfect. And I'm also going to weigh out 10 grams of our Colombian. Super. For grind size, we want to go a little bit coarser than filter. But first, we're going to weigh out 10 grams of our coarsely ground Rwandan coffee. And 10 grams of our Colombian. These are two very good coffees in my opinion to do side by side, because tasting notes from Colombia and tasting notes from Rwanda are going to be completely different. We've also a washed coffee and a natural, so we're going to notice differences like body, texture, aftertaste. We want to smell the grounds dry. It gives us a nice starting point as to what we're working with. The Rwandan coffee smells a little bit lighter than the Colombian. The Colombian's giving me more of a chocolatey, nutty kind of smell. Before we begin, this is a cupping spoon. It has a nice deep bed and it allows us to grab a little bit of coffee. We want to slurp. I know it might seem awkward at the start and it might seem really annoying and noisy, but you want to get a good slurp. This slurp aerates the coffee, spreads it around your palate, and it gives you a great understanding of what's actually happening in this coffee. So we've got our water just off the boil. We're going to let that come down to about 94, 95. So we want to pour our water directly onto the grounds, and we're going to leave it for about 4 minutes. We're going to pour this right up to 180. Making sure all the coffee is in contact with the water. Like so. 180 on the next one. And we're going to leave those for 4 minutes. So we want to make sure we have a little mug of hot water sitting on the side. Because we'll be bouncing back and forth between two coffees, we want to make sure we can have something to clean our spoon. We don't want to mix and match two coffees and potentially get some taste and notes mixed up. So we're now coming up on the 4 minute mark. So what we're going to do is we're going to break the crust. We're going to push away from us 3 times. We're going to get down nice and close and smell the aroma. Just evaluate what's going on in this coffee. We're going to start with the Rwandan. Again, similar to the dry grounds, I'm getting a very subtle fruitiness coming through from the Rwandan, more of a chocolate nutty aroma coming from the Colombian. At this stage, we're going to take 2 spoons and we're going to get rid of the grounds that are still floating at the top. We don't want to be tasting them in a few minutes. Make sure we have a cup on the side. So at this stage, we're going to let the coffees cool for another couple of minutes, and then we're going to taste it at hot, warm, and cool. If you're doing this at home, you'll also notice that the coffee will have different tasting notes throughout this process, and that's why it's so important that we try it at hot, warm, and cool as well, just so we can really understand what's happening in this coffee. A few more minutes has passed. It's time we try these coffees. Again, make sure we have a little bit of hot water on the side, just so we can cleanse the spoon in between different tastes. Before we taste these coffees, you want to keep a few things in mind. What are we looking for? We're looking for flavours, we're looking for acidity, maybe a bit of sweetness. What's the body like? How does it feel on our tongue? Let's give these a try. I'm gonna go for the Rwandan first. You want to take a little bit in your spoon and slurp. We'll have a second. Before we make any opinions, let's try the other one. So already the first difference I can tell, natural, washed. This is sitting a little bit more on my tongue, more of a syrupy mouthfeel. This is more tea-like, so it's nice and light. The Rwandan coffee is really fruity, really sweet. Not getting that much acidity, more of like a mixed berries. There's the light again. That's fine, we'll just leave it. More of an orange, a little bit of chocolate. Yeah, we'll go for like a chocolate orange sort of taste coming from that one. And you'll notice as the coffees start to cool down, there'll be different characteristics come out. Some might improve. Some coffees get worse, believe it or not. So it's so important that we try it at all different stages. There's more acidic notes now coming out of the Rwandan. Kind of like almost like a subtle lemon. Definitely not as sweet as the Rwandan. And this is what's so important about cupping. It tells us a lot about a coffee before we put it on our menu, before we make it at home. Just gives us a great understanding of what's actually happening in that coffee. This Colombian coffee is roasted for espresso, so you're gonna get that slightly darker, chocolatey, nutty kind of taste coming through. It's gonna pair really well with milk-based drinks like flat whites, cappuccinos. The Rwandan, on the other hand, is a lot more fruity, so we're gonna notice very, very nice taste coming through on filters. Now that these coffees have cooled down quite a lot, we're gonna give it one last taste. Still so juicy, the Rwandan, really, really nice. As the Colombian cools, it actually brings out a little bit more acidity from it as well. I know I said more orange earlier, like a chocolate orange, but this does get more vibrant as it cools, which is really interesting. And that's us. That's how you cup a coffee. It's pretty simple, right? What this will tell us is that the Rwandan's gonna be really nice on filter. You're gonna be able to chat with people about tasting notes like lemons, berries. It's quite fruity, very sweet. The Colombian, on the other hand, more of a chocolate orange, really nice as espresso, great for flat whites. I hope you guys enjoyed this cupping, and I'll be doing this with all the new coffees I get in, so make sure you check out the next one. Thanks.